Today, we're going to be starting in the NFL from week 10 and simming the rest of the year to see what awards people win, who's going to win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, how all of the trades after the trade deadlines are going to look, because we got Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, Jerry Alexander. Everyone's on different teams now. And a lot of these teams, they're coming back. The Panthers, they're looking pretty good so far. I think they're undefeated like their last 7 or 6 games. And then we're going to be using, I think, either the Browns or the Dolphins. I think we're going to use the Browns just so we don't mess with anybody as we sim. All right, so a little bit of recap starting from week 10 and the leaders so far. Let's go ahead and pull that up. I think Daniel Jones is still, Daniel Jones, he's leading. I think he might be number 1 in the MVP race. Mahomes, Herbert's up there, Prescott, Jonathan Taylor. Personally, he's my MVP. If I think he can get up to 1,500 rushing yards with about 1,200 receiving, I think he'll definitely get there. Rico Dowdle, Offensive Player of the Year, I think that could be very likely. He's only played like half the games as everyone else, but he's been insane so far. And now we're just going to sim the rest of the season, sim to the playoffs, see who makes it, see who doesn't. Now, after simming everything, the Browns ended up going 5-12, losing their last 2 games. Let's go ahead and look at the playoff bracket. At the number 1 seed, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. They ended up clutching up towards the end. In the AFC side, we have the Bills and the Patriots facing off. That's a great wild card matchup. Colts and the Broncos, and then in the 4th and 5th seed, we have the Steelers and the Chiefs. So the Steelers ended up making the playoffs, and the Chiefs ended up sneaking their way into the playoffs. Right now, they're out of the playoff race. The Lions ended up taking number 1 seed. Eagles are number 3. Rams and the Seattle, they're going to face against each other. Vikings and Philly, and then Bucks and Packers. That's also a great matchup, a little throwback from 2021. Let's go ahead and look at some of the stats. Mahomes ended up leading the league in yards, throwing 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. 42 touchdowns for 7 interceptions. That might be the MVP right now. Jalen Hurts was right behind him. 35 touchdowns. Goff 35. Now let's see who threw the most picks, and it's, to no surprise, Tua turned the ball over, followed by Geno Smith. And Tyrod Taylor, I didn't even know he was the starter for the Jets, but he's already racking up numbers. And now in the rushing side, James Cook led the league in rushing yards with 1,500, pretty close behind Derrick Henry. Josh Jacobs led the league with touchdowns at 17. Jonathan Taylor, 14 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 13. Leading the league in receiving, though, to no surprise, is JSN. He had 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns. Behind him, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, 113 catches for 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. Let's see who led the league in touchdowns. And we have Amon-Ra St. Brown tied with Davante Adams. Davante Adams is definitely an easy red zone threat for the Rams. Matthew Stafford already threw about, 42 touchdowns. Now with the defensive side, DeForest Buckner on the Colts led the league in 19.5 sacks. What a dog. Aiden Hutchinson on the Lions, 18 sacks. Brian Burns, Micah Parsons, 17 sacks after Jerry Jones fed him to the Packers. Dog. Nick Bonito ended up with 16 sacks. I think he's the leader in the sacks right now. Everyone else was kind of mid. See who's in the interceptions. Jordan Lewis, quarterback for the Jaguars, had 8 interceptions. And now, going back to it, we have a pretty fun wild card. Let's see what we got. Let's skip past the wild card. We already know what's going to happen. The Chiefs are not going to beat the Steelers. I'm guaranteeing you. I'm calling it right now. The Chiefs beat the Steelers 13-21. That's Steelers type score right there. The Broncos and Colts 16-24. Broncos end up winning that one. The Bills end up cooking the Patriots 38-21, leaving us with a divisional round in the AFC side, Chargers and Broncos, and then we have the Bills and the Chiefs versus each other. Now flipping the side to the NFC, Rams cooked Seattle 31-10. Eagles and Vikings put up a disgusting score of 10-9. The Buccaneers and Green Bay, that was 14-27. Green Bay ended up winning. They're going to go to Detroit to face the Lions, the number 1 seed. And honestly, my predictions for this one, I got the Chargers beating the Broncos because they seem to be insane. The Bills and the Chiefs, I'm going with the Chiefs. I have to. They always win in the playoffs with them. That's the safest bet. Rams and Eagles, that's a little bit of a throwback from last year's playoffs. And I have the Eagles getting cooked by the Rams. I think Rams are taking that. Detroit and the Packers. Give me Detroit. Now let's see if they're accurate. at all. And let's go ahead simulate to the AFC Championship week, and the Bills end up cooking the Chiefs 28-14. Can we look at the stats? We can look at the stats. Okay, here we go. In the AFC Championship, Mahomes, everything on the line, 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 255 passing yards with 2 touchdowns. James Cook, 61 yards. Even Mahomes was running a little bit. No one could really get anything done on the run game. In the receiving, Khalil Shakir, 11 catches for 146 yards and a touchdown. He balled out. Travis Kelce, 72 yards. Rashee Rice, 72 yards. And a touchdown. Xavier Worthy, touchdown. But honestly, it just looks like the Bills just dominated versus the Chiefs. Let's go ahead and look at the Chargers versus the Broncos. Bo Nix was living in absolute hell. 175 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception. Bo Nix always throws his picks. You know, he's trash like that. 234 yards for 2 touchdowns for Justin Herbert. Dude, and I don't know how you say that name. But Vidal, 20 carries for 51 yards. Poverty averages. But J.K. Dobbins was cooking. Justin Herbert ran a couple times. Keenan Allen, in his old age, had 100 yards. Quentin Johnson, Mr. I Drop Everything, 61 yards. Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, 50 yards. And no one really came out but Ladd McConkey. There it is. That's what I was looking for. 2 touchdowns. 5 catches for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was the reason the Chargers ended up putting belt to the Broncos. I called it. Rams versus Packers, 34-20. Jordan Love put on a masterclass with 5 touchdowns. Jared Goff, 1 touchdown? What are we talking about? Jordan Love, 23 for 32, 71 completion rating. That's MVP level performance right there. Josh Jacobs, 19 carries for 93 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 56 yards and a touchdown. Everyone else, dang. Matthew Golden, though, the rookie. Now, if this happens in real life, I bet you every Packers fan would love this dude even more because they do not throw the ball to him right now. Matthew Golden, 8 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown. That's insane work. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 catches, 85 yards. Wasn't doing it. Christian Watson, he's back from injury now. Had 66 yards. Jameson Williams, 66. Romeo Doubs even caught a touchdown. Absolute masterclass by the Packers. And in the Rams versus Eagles game, 365 yards and 4 touchdowns with 0 interceptions for Matthew Stafford. That's an MVP level performance. And he completed 85% of his passes. He absolutely torched the Eagles defense. Jalen Hurts, 268, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Not looking too good. Not looking too good for that quote-unquote MVP this year. Kyron Williams, 15 carries for 65 yards. That's a dog. Barkley only got 9 carries. What are we doing? I don't know who the Eagles think they are. Giving Jalen Hurts 6 carries, but Saquon 9. That's crazy work. What really happened in this game was Puka Nacua, 8 catches for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. Oh, that's MVP level performance right there. Devontae Smith put everything on the line with 8 catches, 110 yards with 2 touchdowns. He's a red zone target. Where's A.J. Brown? 3 catches of 49 yards. That sounds more like him. Never shows up in any big games. Saquon Barkley, that's what I'm looking for too. 1 catch for 15 yards. Old man masterclass. Touchdown, 83 yards. What more do you want? This bum on the Rams, Winston? I don't know who you are. Absolute dog. And now we have the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed in the AFC, Chargers and the Bills. And the number 2 seed in the Rams and the number 5 seed in the Packers going against each other. This one's going to be hard to predict. I got the Bills winning it, honestly. I think their offense looking right now is too good. And for the Rams, I would be stupid. Honestly, this is hard. The Rams put up, Matthew Stafford put up 5 touchdowns. Jordan Love put up 5 touchdowns. That would be a game to watch. Because that's 2 elite offenses with 2 elite defenses. Let's go ahead and sim to the next week and see what we got. We want to know who wins the playoffs. And look, do we have the Bills end up clutching it in a close game, 38-31, putting up a masterclass. Looks like it came down to overtime, and the Bills ended up coming out with it. They finally got to use their overtime rules. You know what I'm saying? Justin Herbert, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough. Josh Allen, 288, 3 touchdowns, completed 66% of his passes. Both QBs throwing their arms out. Just an absolute unbelievable game by both of them. James Cook, 62 yards and a touchdown. Josh Allen got his rushing touchdown. I'm sure that was classic Josh Allen form, hurdling over somebody. Vidal, 36 yards for 12 carries. That's not really I feel like you want a little bit more from your running back if I'm the Chargers. Even Ty Johnson had 10 carries for 32 yards. I don't know why we're giving the backup so many carries. But Quentin Johnson, game on the line. Dog. Keenan Allen, 135 and a touchdown. Elijah Moore. Like, you got to think, Justin Herbert's throwing to Quentin Johnson, first-round pick. Keenan Allen, first-round pick. He's throwing to Elijah Moore, who I think was on the Jets, then the Browns. He's a bum. And he's getting 2 touchdowns with 75 yards in the AFC Championship. Ladd McConkey, too. 5 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Keon Coleman finally had a breakout game in the playoffs. 64 yards and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, 60 yards. And everyone else was kind of cooking. And now I don't really see is... Where is it? Shakir didn't. I can't say his name to save my life. Shakir had 0 catches. Dalton Knox, 0 catches. A lot of these guys you would think would be catching the ball got nothing. Let's see if there's anything happened on defense. Did we get any good sacks? Any big games? Joey Bosa got a sack. Terrier Tart got a sack. And it really just looked like the Buffalo Bills defense just outshine, honestly. It went to overtime, so that was a pretty equal matchup there. And with the NFC Championship, it went 28-22. Rams ended up winning that. And dude, this was a close one. It looks like this was a close one. Green Bay went for 2-point conversion at the end. Tried to get the ball back. It looks like they didn't get it. Jordan Love did not put on a masterclass this week. 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 sacks. Matthew Stafford, though, in his old age and 16 years of experience, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, 69% of his passes. GOAT mentality. Josh Jacobs does what he does. 83 yards. Kyron Williams, 72 yards and a touchdown. Emmanuel Wilson, I think he's the backup to Jacobs. He had a touchdown. Blake Corum had a touchdown. Not guys who I think would be scoring, but they're scoring. Puka Nacua, 100 yards and a touchdown. Christian Watson, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Put the game on his back. Devontae Adams, another touchdown for the playoffs. I think that might be like his 6th or 7th one. Jordan Winton, I don't know who this dude is. I guarantee you he's a certified scrub, but in Madden, he's literally Randy Moss. He caught 6 catches for 65 yards. Before, he caught like 2 for, I think, 100 or something like that. It was something crazy. Let's see if anything special happened on defense. Jared Verse, 1.5 sack. Micah Parsons, he got his sack. And now we have, I think this would be one of the greatest Super Bowls in a very long time. The Rams versus the Bills. This would be insane because this is 2 elite offenses and both are pretty good defenses. So that would just be an insane game to watch. We're simming to the Super Bowl. We got to see who wins this game. All right, guys, we're here in the Super Bowl. Kickoff just happened. Bills get the ball first. Here's the opening kickoff. I just want to show y'all. We're just letting it cruise the rest of the way, and I'll show y'all if anything important happens. Josh Allen, 31 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for 390 yards. Now, in the first quarter, the Bills end up scoring the first touchdown. They end up going by 10. Now, in a game where you could not predict what happens, the Rams are actually going to lose 13-0. This is the last play of the game. Matthew Stafford is just going to throw a check down. And this was honestly one of the worst Super Bowl games I've watched. There wasn't a single highlight. There was a James Cook touchdown earlier. And the Rams, they did not show up today. The Bills' offense did not show up today. Both defenses were amazing. And the Bills end up finally getting the ring for Josh Allen. You can see right there. He looks happy. Everyone else Not so much. Let's see the very end of the video, what you all have been waiting for. The stats for this game were poverty. 16 for 24 for Josh Allen, 171. 11 for 23 for Matthew Stafford, who might win MVP. 47% of his passes were completed. Keenan Coleman had a touchdown. Like I said, 53 yards. Elijah Moore. Everyone there, nobody else even balled off. Even the bum Whittington, he only had 2 catches for 16 yards. Puka Nacua, 2 catches for 22 yards. Honestly, if this happens in real life, people will riot because this was one of the most disappointing games I've watched. I sat here the whole time. I watched the entire game. It was check down, punt, 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 punt. Couple sacks here and there. But overall, just a boring game and straight defense to watch. And now we finally get to see who's going to win MVP and who's going to win all of the awards. Let's check it. Bills MVP was Greg Rasul. I think he had 2 sacks in that one. I'm not sure. NFL MVP, because they glaze him so much, was Patrick Mahomes. Sean McVay won Coach of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year was Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know about that. DeForest Buckner led the league in sacks. He deserved it. Ashton Genty won Rookie of the Year. And Carson Swedginger, who's the Browns linebacker, I believe, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, overall, let me know in the comments if you think this is accurate of how the season will go this year. And who do you think will win MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. This is D1 Kuumo Gaming. Tune in for the next time. Peace, guys.